going on, everyone? Live and learn here. Just wanted to once again express my gratitude for all those who have been following me and consistently watching my videos, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Of course, those of you who have donated financially as well. I know that that's it's a small sacrifice, perhaps on your part, or big, but always appreciated. So thank you so much. Anyway, in this video today, I just wanted to talk about something I think that's relevant. Things that I've been noticing around me, specifically on, LinkedIn and places like that, where I'm seeing news of a lot of layoffs, people losing their jobs. And, first and foremost, I just want to give a word of encouragement to those who have been laid off, for those who have lost their jobs. If you're out there and you're listening or you're watching this, I just want to encourage you to keep going. I've been there. I've been there several times. Unfortunately, I've found myself unemployed. And it sucks. It hurts. It hits your pride. It hits your confidence. And I just want to encourage you to keep going and process your emotions, right? Don't act like everything's okay if it's not. Talk to somebody. Again, I always leave my Instagram is on here, so if you need someone to talk to, reach out. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help people. I know what it's like to be in those situations where, it just, you don't understand how you found yourself there. It's like, wow, I did everything I was supposed to do, right? I mean, I see people who have been there, been with their companies for years, and all of a sudden they find themselves without a job. And if you're one of those people, I just want to encourage you, keep going, keep fighting, hang in there. Sometimes there's something that you never would have even imagined, or something you would have never tried, or something you would have never even pursued if it wasn't for this situation happening. And so I know that's not easy to hear right now, especially when you're going through it and you're feeling all those emotions, whatever they may be. And it's a wide range, right? We feel bad, we feel upset, sometimes we feel betrayed, sometimes we feel, like, man, I guess I'm just not good enough. And again, I want to go back to a video a couple months ago now, I think, where I talked about just how our mind can, magnify these fears and these emotions, these thoughts that we're having if we allow it to. And so, just understand that that's what's happening. Right now we are super focused. You're hyper focused on what's happening at the moment, and understandably so. It's a big deal. But do your best to break down that fear, to see really, like, how big is this, like, how intense is this really? Because if we play into the fear, if we give into those emotions, then we will find ourselves in a really bad spot, where we're hopeless and we just think that we can't turn things around. But the reality is, you can turn things around, and you will turn things around. And you will find another opportunity, and you will find yourself, in a better season. And so right now it's tough. Right now it's hard, but just, keep pushing through. Write things down if you need to. Come up with a strategy. Just do whatever you have to do to put your mind in a different spot, like a different place where you're preoccupied with doing something else other than just sitting there and just allowing all these waves of emotion just to overwhelm you. But again, I do know where you're coming from. And again, I am sorry for those of you that are going through that. And so many things, right? There was a tragedy over the weekend of, shooting that occurred in Colorado Springs. And so just, prayers to those that were affected. And it's a tough time right now, and all this is happening right around the holidays. Thanksgiving coming up this week, and Christmas right around the corner. It's like, I don't know if it makes it that much worse, that these types of things happen like around these times that are supposed to be joyous and about family and about warmth and about, being reflecting on, things that we're grateful for. And, it makes it really tough to appreciate this season when you're going through something so difficult. And so, just keep your head up for everybody out there that's just, going through things and dealing with hard times right now. Because the thing about it is, unfortunately in this life, there's cycles, right? There's seasons. And no matter how much we talk about it, no matter how much we identify it, and no matter how much we try to understand it, they still seem to take us, by surprise. It still seems to come at the most unopportune time, right? It's like, man, things can't get any worse, and then they do. And then you're just kind of wondering, like, what's this all about? But these are things that are unfortunately a part of life. But also the other side of it is they don't last forever. And we still have an opportunity to make choices to get ourselves through, right? We'll still have an opportunity to look ahead. We can still hope. There's still hope. There's still something to hope for. Because what I've found, and again, I know I've shared this before, is during those times, right? Those times where I found myself, out of work, where I found myself, at a disadvantage or whatever reason. Oftentimes what happens there is I'm forced to do something different, right? It breaks me out of my routine, right? It breaks us out of our norm. And it's like you end up finding things that otherwise you wouldn't have even looked for. And I shared a reel yesterday on my Instagram, and one of the things I said was, when we feel like it's not working out, understand that it actually is. And what I mean is, something is working out in us when we're going through these difficult times. It has to, right? We're forced to grow in places that we not that we didn't want to, but it's like we never were really required to, right? We never hit that point where now we have to direct our attention elsewhere, and now we have to put our efforts elsewhere, and that's what these seasons in life they force us to do, and so really pay attention to that and see what can I get out of this? Where can I go from here? And again, I know it's hard. I'm not saying, hey, you know what, let's just be, let's just think positive and everything's going to go away and make it better. It doesn't. We're human. We're hurting, right? If you're going through something, if something happened, if something tragic, right? If you've lost your job, if you lost someone you love, if something has happened to you or affected you, we're hurting. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to sit there and say that, It's okay to express those things. It's okay to have healthy conversations. It's okay to seek out a therapist or a psychiatrist and just unload, what's on your mind and what's in your heart. Get to the bottom of things. The other side of this, right? When we're going through difficult times, when we're going through, emotionally trying times, is we have to face our emotions. We have to face some things that are maybe buried deep down inside. For some of us, work was maybe just a place to escape. Like when I go to work, I just, I'm like a machine. I just get in there and I get to it. I get my stuff done. I accomplish my goals. I have some control, right? And maybe because, there's something in me that, I don't have control over, or there's something that I got to deal with that, this kind of allows me to push it to the side. Well, now we don't have that anymore. So now it's like we're sitting down face to face with the one thing that we were trying to avoid. Well, look at it as an opportunity to finally deal with that, right? And again, journaling, it's a good method, something I need to practice more. Writing things down, right? Finding someone trustworthy to speak to, and just, someone that's just going to listen. And for those of you out there that aren't going through something like this, we haven't lost our jobs. Family's been okay. We haven't been affected by tragedies. Things seem to be going, pretty pretty good for us right now. Let's take that upon ourselves to be that ear, that person that's just gonna listen, right? We're lending that ear to listen. I'll tell you what, you don't realize how much of an effect you can have on someone's life just by listening to them, just by being there, just by allowing them to talk, just by letting them talk. I mean, I'm in sales, right? And the deals that I close, those are the ones that I'll tell you, what they share in common is I'm allowing the customers to talk to me. I'm listening to their issues. I'm listening to their problems. I want them to tell me, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just listening. Tell me about your experience. Tell me what went wrong here, right? People want to be heard. And again, we're not listening to manipulate. But what you're doing is you're listening to show them that, hey, listen, I'm here. I have a product to sell you, of course. This is real life, right? I have to make a living. You need something, and it's economics, right? We in exchange. But when it's all said and done, what I'm really here to do is to help you. And people will understand that when they're being heard and they're being listened to, they'll know they're being helped. And this is why I don't make this a religious channel or really talk about spiritual things too much on here, because we do a lot of talking, right? As people of faith, as people of whatever, religious background we have. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're genuine, it doesn't even matter. If you're someone that people actually want to be around, if you're someone that people feel like, I feel welcome when I'm around that person, it doesn't even matter. That should be first, right? So again, if we're like us, if we're going through a pretty relatively normal season, things are going pretty good. We're not out of a job. We're not out of we're not suffering the loss of a loved one or any type of tragedy. Let's be grateful for where we're at. Because again, life comes in cycles, comes in seasons, right? I remember what it felt like to be there. And I remember what it felt like to have someone to go to. I remember what it felt like to have someone to talk to have people to text and call and say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling like this today. And someone just listening. And then leaving me with a word of encouragement, or leaving me with some kind of encouraging words, something to grasp onto. Hey, Josh, don't forget. Hey, Josh, don't forget. Don't forget. And again, going back to those of you who are going through it right now, don't forget. Don't forget what got you there, right? If you could get where you were, you can get other places too. You can advance. You can make it out of this season. And you will. You will. Just don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on yourself, and don't be reluctant to learn what lessons are available during this time. Again, I know that's tough, and I don't want to be insensitive. I don't want to be, I know what it feels like. And I know it's hard to hear that. How could anything good be coming out of this? Because we have a choice. Now, I know we couldn't control what happened to us, right? I know you couldn't control what happened to you, but we have a choice. We can respond. You can respond differently. You can take this time. You can meditate. You don't have to, there's no rush in the morning now. Now you can get up early, take deep breaths, meditate, calm your mind, write things down, write your goals. Where do you want to be? Be specific. Where do I see myself next year? I got laid off this last job. Where do I want to be next? Do I want to do something different? Do I want to go for it? Do I want to pursue my dream? Sometimes it takes things like this to snap us out of our routine so that we can start to focus on what we really want. See, if you were laid off from a job that you didn't like anyway, You've got to take that into account. You've got to take that into your into the inventory of your mind. You've got to process that, because we only get one life, and no one's promised tomorrow. We don't know how long we're going to be here. This is why I started doing this YouTube stuff. This is why I started pursuing life coaching, because it finally clicked. Like, I'm only going to be alive for so long. What am I going to, what will I leave behind? What's going to be my legacy? What am I going to leave behind for my boys? What am I going to leave behind for those who are, who I've influenced or will have influence over? What's going to be said about me? That I worked a 9 to 5? That's admirable. It's honorable, right? It is. But what about my dreams? What about the stuff I really want to do? You know, like they say, what would you do even if you weren't getting paid? What would you do all day? What about that? And you know, we're just too gifted to settle for less. And again, for those of you that are going through these tough times right now, and they're dark times right now, I want to offer you and extend you this encouragement that you'll get through this. We have to get through it. We have to get through it, because there is more to be had on the other side. So again, process the emotions, process the difficulties, right? If you've lost someone, if you've been affected by some of these tragedies that have happened, you know, again, my heart goes out to you. It's not easy. But there's resources, there's grief counselors, there's therapists, there's people, you know, even institutions, even religious institutions, you know, there's people of faith that are, you know, that can counsel you. There's community, you know, surround yourself with people that are there, that are going to be there for you, that are genuine. Find those people. Find those communities. You know, shoot, this guy on YouTube that maybe you know or don't know, let me be that person for you. Go through all my videos and pull out whatever you feel is worthwhile. And go through all the YouTube channels and find something, you know. Just cling on to it. You know, I know it's hard right now, but you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. When times get hard, when things get difficult, when dark times happen, we have to lean into it. Say, what do I need to learn from this? How can I get through this? You know, what's a different direction that I can take? So I'm telling you, there's more in us than we know. And sometimes it takes these types of situations to find out. But there's a lot more to us than we believe sometimes. So anyway, I just want to say, stay encouraged. And, you know, just on that note, again, if you feel like a life coach might be a good move for you, my Instagram is always in my description. Send me a message and we can figure out the details from there. I'm not trying to get rich off anybody. I'm trying to help people out. So if it's something that you feel would be helpful, if you feel like my words, the way I say things would be good for you, reach out, let me know. We'll figure it out. But I want to encourage you, just keep your head up, keep going, and you know, you'll get through this. I guarantee it.